Michael is deafblind. He's been a member since he was a young man. When you're deaf and blind, unless somebody's touching your hand, you are on your own. Michael lived in a big block of flats in the middle of the Swiss cottage gyratory system. Crossing the road there is difficult for anyone. It's impossible for someone who's deaf and blind. As a result of that, he spent far too much time in his flat, alone and isolated. This was damaging his health. His levels of anxiety and stress were increasing, and he came to me one day and said, "I have to move."
Shimmy is a 9-year-old little boy from South Africa. He was born with a cleft lip and a cleft palate, and he's profoundly deaf. His parents are Jewish, they're Orthodox. They sent him to a Jewish school for children with learning disabilities, and he doesn't have a learning disability. So it quickly became apparent how inappropriate the school was and that he really wasn't thriving there. And so they found the only deaf school that they could in Johannesburg. The deaf school did not meet all of his needs because he was the only Jewish child in the school, and bearing in mind that he comes from an Orthodox family, the Jewish culture was vitally important. Because he felt that he didn't really have anything in common with the other children in the other families, he just felt very isolated and he wasn't thriving at all.
Eddie's been a member of the JDA all his life. He's always been a very strong, independent, cheeky man. Eddie never used to let us get involved in his life very much. Since he got diagnosed with dementia, he had several spells in hospital. He became more and more isolated and he needed us. He would arrive at the JDA looking dirty and disheveled, and he just kind of disappeared into himself. This vibrant, strong, independent, cheeky character. He became really downtrodden, and it was Eddie who approached us and said that he wanted to move into a care home.
Michael told me that he wanted his own front door, his own garden that he could relax in, and to be near to JDA. We knew what we had to do, and we found him a flat just 500 yards from the JDA's front door. Once we'd dealt with selling his flat, the next thing was dealing with moving him in. Moving's the most stressful thing in the world anyway. Imagine what it's like if you're both deaf and blind. When he arrived and I walked into that flat and saw him surrounded by boxes, I just wanted to cry. I didn't know how on earth we were going to get this done. There was nothing for it but to roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Mark, Shimmy's father, found out about the JDA on the internet. When Mark contacted the JDA, he was referred to Jodie, who runs the family services. Mark came to England for a week. Jodie had prepared a whole week's worth of support for him while he was here. She had contacted 3 deaf schools. She'd made appointments for him. She accompanied him to the appointments, told him what questions to ask, and gave him all the support he needed. Shimmy is now at Blanche Neville School in Highgate. His parents chose that school because it has total communication. Shimmy is comfortable signing, and his parents are really happy about that. He is doing very, very well.
We packed up Eddie's flat and moved him. It was one of the worst things I've ever done as a JDA staff member. Piles and piles of stuff that he had, and we had to decide what things would be important to him when he was feeling better. And in conjunction with Jewish Care, we moved Eddie to Ruben's house. We couldn't have done it without them, and they couldn't have done it without us. When we asked Eddie what kind of care home he wanted, where he wanted to move, his only priority was to be near the JDA. We came in, we trained up all the staff how to communicate with him, involved him in the activities, and now he's as happy as can be. We still visit him regularly, so he's got someone to sign with. He's back to the old Eddie.
Michael found a local restaurant where he really enjoyed the food, so we trained the waitress who serves him regularly to communicate with him. Now he walks onto the high street, people know him, people touch his hand, he's not on his own.
Shimmy came to the JDA Family Fun Day a few weeks ago and he met other Jewish deaf children, as did his parents. It was actually Shimmy's birthday and the JDA had organised for him to be given a birthday cake and for everybody to sing him happy birthday. And he was so happy, he was glowing. The smile on Shimmy's face was priceless.
Thankfully for Michael, isolation is now a thing of the past. He's now part of a local community. He's round the corner from the JDA. If anything goes wrong in his life, we're literally seconds away. Everyone has a basic human right to be safe, well, and be connected with other people. The JDA has given that to Michael.